Hello everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts. And today we are talking about Fruits Basket episode 25, Summer Will Be Here Soon. I cannot believe it has been 25 episodes. It's been 25 weeks we have spent with this show, and it's come to a close for now. We do already have the confirmation of season 2 sometime in 2020. But this is the temporary end to our FruBa conversations, you and and I don't know how I feel about that. Like, on one hand, I am relieved, but on the other hand, it's sort of bittersweet, because it's like, oh man, like, I want to keep talking about FruBa. I don't want to wait for it. But I know that they're going to be using that time to make it friggin' stellar like this season was, so I guess, you know, I can't really complain. Before we really get into things though, I do want to give a big shout out to those of you who shared last week's video over on Twitter, namely at TheChillasN1, at CoraZoneUnicorn, at JNTheo21, at Kisasan98, at AnimeLover2427, at Kaleido Musings, at Tenko Yai, at KyoAnimeTweet, at Bishi for Life, at Patrice Conde, at Shadow350, lots of numbers, at Morgan Romero, at Rem is Best Waifu, and at Days Will. Thanks so much for sharing last week's video, guys. It has been super appreciated, and thanks to all of you who have been sharing all the FruBa videos. Seriously, I don't think the channel would have grown as quickly as it has been lately if it wasn't for the consistent support on the FruBa videos, so I do want to give a very genuine thank you, not just to those awesome people who shared last week's video, but anybody who shared any of the videos, comments on any of the videos, talks to me over on Twitter about FruBa. It is so friggin' appreciated. Love you guys very much. But enough with the sappiness, let's go ahead and dig into this week's FruBa video, the finale to this season of FruBa, and we got 3 things that I want to talk about. We gotta talk about Good Dad Kazuma, we gotta talk about True Form Fallout, and we gotta talk about the next season hints. I'm gonna save some of the fallout from Kyo's True Form for a second. I do want to talk mainly about Good Dad Kazuma to start. I think that's probably my biggest takeaway personally, other than like the hype I feel for next season, because man, they lay on some of that hype thick. But I do want to talk about Kazuma, because Kazuma, and I'm not gonna do the Konosuba joke, even though it is killing me not to, acts like the most proper father of the... I don't want to say the entire show, because I do feel as though Hana's dad is also in the running for best dad. We don't really get to know much about Toru's dad, but I feel like he's up there as well. But Kazuma is... it's really killing me not to do the Kazuma joke, but Kazuma is very high up on that tier. I think personally, because we got to know him a little bit more deeper than other dads in the show, he is my dad of the show. I would say that he is best dad. He gets the #1 dad mug in the FruBa universe, if you know what I'm saying. This man is like the epitome of what a good, not only mentor is, but what a good person is, because this is not his kid. Kyo is in no way his son. He is like he is the cat spirit, and yes, he does have a connection to cat spirits like Kazuma does, but he didn't have to do what he did for Kyo. He did that. He does say that he did it out of a selfish reason to start. He does, of course, begin to raise Kyo out of a sense of like guilt, like he wants to atone for what he did to his grandfather, which really isn't that bad. Like, don't get me wrong, it's not a nice thing, but it's not like he called him mean names and like picked on him all the time or something. He only saw his grandfather once, and his grandfather tried to offer him like a treat to like hang out with him, because he had been like in isolation. It looked like it didn't look pleasant, is what I'll say. And Kazuma is, of course, like, all he has to go on are the words of the other adults in his life at the time, and they said that his grandfather was like to be shunned, so he wasn't sure how to react to him. It's not cool, don't get me wrong, and he like, yeah, like he should in some way make an atonement, but it's not something like when he said that it really tore him up. I was like, I mean, you were a kid, man. But that's just further proof as to what a good dude Kazuma is. He is best dad of the season. Could he be best dad of the year? I don't know. I'll need to ponder on that a little bit more. But he does go above and beyond for this kid who he doesn't know. He just takes him up because he knows that he is similar to his grandfather who he wants to make right by. And the relationship these two form is so genuine and so real at points, like almost too real. The scene of Kyo being like, he's not my dad, like getting upset when somebody says like, I know he's not your biological dad, but couldn't he have done a better job at raising you or whatever? Like, which by the way, big time douche. But when he said that and Kyo's reaction is, he is not my dad, is like the most painful moment, because it's like, oh, but he is though. Like, I know he's not, but he is. But he's just saying that to be like, don't put my bad behavior on him. But of course, Kazuma hears that and is like, okay, like, that's sad. It's like, oh, no. And I think that scene inadvertently caused them, as Kazuma says, to go the long way around with their relationship, because they do start off with this very father-son kind of bond. It starts off sort of student-teacher when it comes to martial arts, and then it kind of becomes father-son over time, but neither could really form the words to say that to the other. So it's sort of just, they took the long way around, as they said, to get to that point. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, when when Kyo says, like, I'm gonna keep getting more, like, independent, I'm gonna keep trying to grow on my own, like, grow more confident, grow more independent, and eventually one day I'm gonna make you okay with me calling you dad. And that, I was like, like, that got me. So I was like, oh, don't cry, keep it together, keep it together, oh boy, come on now. And it was okay until Kazuma's just like, well, my son, you're gonna have to do a lot better than that if you want to get the one up on your old man. And I was like, no, no, here come the tears. Oh, FruBa. Yeah, oh, this show, I didn't ask for this. I mean, I did, but like, it hurts so good. And now I guess we could talk about the fallout of the true form of Kyo, because this, I said this last week and I saw some people go like, no, they knew. And I'm like, no, that affected them. I don't care what anybody said. That really got to Yuki and Kagura and everybody. Like, whether or not just because you've seen something horrifying once doesn't mean that seeing it again would make you any less scared. Just ask the kids from It. But in this case, it is, it really affected them. Yuki and Kagura were, and even Shigure to an extent, all of them were like, not okay. They were not okay after what happened. And Kagura in particular, I want to talk about Kagura first because there's some Yuki stuff that I want to talk about. But Kagura leaving before the others woke up, to me, tells me how strong she is as an individual, because I wish she had stayed to talk to them about what happened, because that would have been maybe the more mature response. But Kagura leaving to be like, no, I can handle this on my own, to me speaks volumes about how strong she is as a person, right? Like, on her own, that she's able to be like, no, I can deal with these emotions. Like, she can compartmentalize it a little bit, which, it's not good to bottle up your emotions, but the fact that she was like, no, I'm gonna let Kyo figure this out on his own with Toru, because that seems to be where things are heading, although maybe not, judging by later on in the episode, but that's what Kagura thinks. Maybe. I don't, friggin', that's what I'm assuming. Judging by the scene, it seemed to me that she's like, yeah, okay, Toru is the one who saved Kyo, not me. I need to kind of go deal with this, but on my own. I'm not gonna burden anybody else with my own stuff, and Kagura left on her own, which Kagura is the character who, again, I thought was kind of obnoxious to start, but she grew on me big time by the end of the show, by the end of this season. I hope we see more growth for Kagura, and I hope Kagura gets, like, I don't know, either I hope she gets with Kyo, or I hope she gets with, like, somebody else who is good for her. Because my girl Kagura deserves it, but you know what my boy Yuki deserves? My boy Yuki deserves, I guess, whatever the hell ship he wants to be in, because either way, I'm on board. I am a big Yuki Haru fan. You guys know this about me. I've said this since Hatsuharu was introduced. I love the Yuki Haru ship. I don't care what anybody says. I ship it to the moon and back. I ship it like FedEx. First day, priority shipping, okay? Don't even worry about it. However, we get like a big Toru Yuki moment in this, but I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save my thoughts on that for a second, because I want to talk about the Yuki Haru scene. Because Hatsuharu immediately knew something was up, judging by 2 factors. He couldn't find Yuki, but just by looking at him from a distance, Haru knew something was up. And so when he confronted Toru, he immediately was like, okay, I have to go find my boy. I gotta figure out what's going on. He immediately goes to Yuki to figure out what Yuki's deal is. Now, at first, I was confused because I wasn't sure what Yuki's issue was, like why he was feeling the way he was feeling other than true form be scary. But at the same time, I think it just sort of steeled his nerves in a sense. It sort of made Yuki realize like that he doesn't want to keep feeling scared and frustrated. And I mean, like that scene with him and Kyo in the beginning of the next day where they have like their usual fight, to me made me go like, I guess some things never change. But it did make Yuki want, like the whole true form thing, I think steeled Yuki's desire to, as he says, little by little work on his courage and face everything. Like, and the thing too is like, this isn't just a Yuki thing. This is a everybody thing. I was gonna say a Kyo thing, but it's all the Somas are suddenly trying to fight their way forward, as they say in the episode. Like they're all trying to fight their way forward, and I don't think that would have happened without Toru. And let's go ahead and talk about the whole Toru-Yuki thing now. Toru is single-handedly responsible for, in my opinion, the Somas becoming better people and fighting their way forward, breaking away from the shackles of their past and the Soma, like, family nonsense. I don't even know what you would call it at this point. Because I thought I knew everything, but I certainly do not, judging by the end of this episode. But without Toru, without that sudden new factor, that new element in their lives, they wouldn't have the drive to fight their way forward. And I think Yuki in particular really cares about Toru. Now, I thought after last week that it was going to be all about Kyo Toru, and I was like, I'm on board. I'm not only am I on the ship, I am sailing the ship. I am the captain now. But apparently not, because now I'm just like between many ships, like one show, many ships. How am I supposed to take this? How am I supposed to read that scene other than, I guess Yuki's still interested in Toru, but is Toru interested in Kyo and Yuki at the same time? I don't know what to say. At the end of the day, all I really know is that Toru is the sweetest, kindest person in this fictional planet that the FruBa characters live in. I almost said on this planet, but sadly there is no one quite as sweet as Toru. But without her, the Somas wouldn't be working to fight their way forward, and I think Yuki recognizes that in a big bad way. And I don't know what the future holds for these characters. I don't know who's gonna get shipped with who. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I do know that I'm excited, especially after, and the final thing I want to talk about, sorry if this video is running long, but the next season hints. Who were those 2 people in the hallway? Who is this Rin person that Hiro goes to see? And what is up with this whole feeling something coming thing with Shigure like cradling Akito, and everybody's like, yeah, something's coming. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I feel it in my heart, like something's gonna happen. I'm like, what is gonna happen? Why must you leave me on that note? And then of course we get the end card of like, you know, Fruits Basket Season 2, 2020. It's like, that's great. 2020 is gonna be great. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited. But how could you leave me like this? That dude on the stairs gives me like big troublemaker vibes. Like something's there. I don't know what. But and that Rin person, like when they talk about the curse and like what is going on? Like, is she part of the Zodiac? Does she know something? What's her relation to Hiro? How did they actually get me to care about a side story about Hiro, like, at the tail end of the season? Because you all know that I ain't a Hiro fan, but I am curious about what's going on there. And what is the deal with Shigure and Akito, and what is everybody sensing coming? And I think that's gonna be all my thoughts. I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. This is a pretty solid A rank episode. I really enjoyed it. It didn't blow my mind like last week's episode, but that felt like the point. Like this was supposed to be more of a wind down and then sort of a tease for the next season. So yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's all I have to say on this season of FruBa now. that's the end. But hey, before I take off, as always, I have to give a big shout out to the good folks over on Patreon, namely those in the Earl Grey tier: Calvin Atkinson, Crowbar of Irony, Dominic, Urza, Ginkotaku, No For Nothing, Maria Teresa, Mirth Mouser, Nye, Omnigaramond, Cell, Shadow Creative, Sipco Games, Somastan, Steven, Tristan, and Verdon. Thank you all so much for your continued support over on Patreon, and if you too would like to join the T Squadron, then by all means go ahead and check out the first link in the description. Check out our Patreon page, see all the cool rewards you can get over there, as well as access to our Patreon exclusive Discord. But on that note, everybody, that is going to be a video, so I hope you all enjoyed today's video, and if you did, then you've probably been on the internet long enough to know what to do already, so I ain't gonna tell you, but I will say that it is appreciated, and if you are feeling stressed out today, and I would get it, but if you are feeling stressed out today, you go have yourself a warm cup of tea, and I will talk to you all again real soon.